I'm Professor Kamel Hawwash. I'm an academic at the University of Birmingham, and I'm standing in the elections to be an MP in Selly Oak. Well, the Labour Party and in particular Keir Starmer, since he was elected, has refused to meet the Palestinian community. So this was prior to the 7th of October, but clearly his position since the 7th of October has been completely supportive of Israel and almost dismissive of the Palestinian people as a people. And it was when he said that Israel had the right to cut off water and electricity that I felt, as someone from Palestinian heritage, I could not stay in the party, and so I resigned, and the letter I sent in I made public, and that triggered a lot of support and indeed was the starting point for forming a new political party. Behind it are ordinary people, professional people from initially from Birmingham, but it has spread. So we've got people involved in developing our work, our policies, and also we're developing our list of candidates very carefully, because we want to make sure they are people who will truly represent their constituents if they're elected. One of the key things about Reliance is that we will not have a party whip, which means that we will come together as independent candidates, if you like, who share values, and then when we get to Parliament, people will be able to vote in accordance with these values, with their conscience, and to represent the constituents. The trigger was undoubtedly the attacks on Gaza, so we want an ethical foreign policy without a doubt, one where there is no exception for any particular state, as there is for Israel at the moment. So we want international law to be applied, and for the Palestinian people, we are for their right to self-determination. But beyond that, we have policies on other issues which are of concern to many people, if not everyone, like the cost of living crisis, like the NHS, housing, which is a really difficult issue, because there just isn't enough, and it's not something that immigrants should be blamed for. The country has not been building enough houses, so we are very focused on social housing and how to achieve that. The climate is another area where, as you know, Keir Starmer decided to ditch the Labour policy on the climate. How can you? We see rising temperatures here in the UK ourselves, record temperatures every year. So there should be much more focus on that, and that's what Reliance will be developing over the next few months. So I decided to stand in a constituency not far from where I live. It's literally a couple of miles to the edge. It is called Birmingham Selly Oak. The current incumbent is a Labour MP called McCabe, who's been there for almost a couple of decades. So first of all, I was looking at somewhere where I could stand against a Labour MP. But in addition to that, he is the chair of Labour Friends of Israel, and that's an organisation that he has chosen to be involved in. He will always say he's a friend of Israel, and will claim that people who criticize Israel are not just doing it out of politics or concern for the Palestinian people. And I've no doubt there are some people who have other motives, but the overwhelming majority see what's happening, particularly in Palestine, in Gaza, and they completely disagree with them. So I would like to I'm standing to challenge him, to unseat him, and to actually be more representative for the people of Selly Oak, because every time I bump into people who live there, they tell me that he's very unresponsive and therefore is not really representing the constituency. He is bringing the Labour Party whip to bear on the constituency that he represents. So first of all, we're focused on England. We will be fielding a few more candidates in Birmingham. We have some candidates coming in from other cities in this region, but I prefer to wait until we put some people in front of certainly of the media in the coming few weeks, not many weeks. We've identified some, and we're going through the process to ensure that we're ready to launch them. As you know, today's event is one that Reliance is holding with Assemble together, and some of the other speakers are independent candidates who've come up from London. We are speaking to people who are independent candidates. We are speaking to some of the other smaller parties to see areas we can cooperate on, particularly that if we want to unseat people with a substantial majority, it will not help the cause of any of them for there to be for the vote to be split. So we are talking to other groups, but we haven't concluded these talks yet.